Hello and welcome to episode 2 of my second mini-series on a financial education. And today I want to be talking about debt and money in the system. I've actually put out another video and it's called The Money Men and the Masters of the Universe. And if you haven't watched it, you might want to watch it. There's various sources out there that explain how money works. They're probably better than the way I can put it. I'm not going to give you fancy videos or anything like that. My media skills are somewhat limited. But this works for me, and I think it's a good way to get the point of view across. So, to recap, how does money in the system work? And for those of you who don't know, essentially banks have the power to create an open loop, especially in the UK and Europe. And what they would do is they will create money into existence. So, say for example, they lend you £100. So this doesn't come from savers, this £100. So to say this is over 5 years. So say over 5 years I have to pay back 120. So what will happen is their profit is this. That's their profit. And they will weigh up the risk reward on what they will lend me. So they won't start off with this, they will actually start off with this. They will put 100 on the ledger. So it'll be 0 minus 100, and then over time it will be plus 20, and then 100 gets wiped out. So their profit is this. That's their profit. So if I end up defaulting, then they have to cover the 100. So the 100 then gets taken onto the balance sheet. Or they will sell the debt on, which is probably more likely. So I don't know what they will sell the debt on for. I know they will sell the debt on though. So there's often cases where, say for example, you can't afford to pay, they will sell the debt on and you can negotiate on your behalf with the creditors and say, look, I can't afford to pay this. Can I pay in full and I'll pay X amount? Say you owe 10,000. You can tell and say, I'll give you 7,000 to clear the debt. And they can say, yeah, no, it's up to them. And that will depend on what they have on the books, etc. So if they need cash flow, then chances are they're going to accept it. They won't advertise this, of course, because they're arseholes, but it's something you can do. Actually, I shouldn't call them arseholes. They're just performing a function. If you're stuck in a situation where you've taken out money and you can't afford to pay it back, unfortunately, it is what it is. You know, you should always pay your debts. And a likely characteristic as well, actually, is they worked out that poor people, I'll say poorer people, not in poor people probably have a better mentality than rich people. They're more inclined to pay their debts back than rich people. So rich people will put it in companies and be smart about it, and poor people will take it out as individuals and put themselves at risk. So just because I have this wad of cash, this is debt. This is to give an example of debt and how the system works. So, for example, in my case, I've taken out 500 at 0%. However, there was a 2.9% fee to do so. So my cost of capital is 2.9%. That's how much I paid to take this out. Now, I don't know any place on the market where I can get a loan for 2.9%. It's purely to cover my obligations. So I owe one of my suppliers from Asia, so I've taken it out on cheap credit, knowing full well that I can make the money back and more with this. So I've taken this out. So on the book, I've taken out, let's do it up here. It's getting a bit crowded actually. I've taken out 500 because I've taken it out from a bank, 0. They haven't taken it from anyone else. They've put it on the ledger. So in return, they've made an instant fee of 2.9%. So let's move this over. Oh, camera. Oh, that'll do. Lovely. So they've already made 2.9%. So what's that? 5, 10. Let's call that £15 for the privilege. So their risk is now 485. As soon as I pay it back, so this is me, they would have made around circa £15 for the privilege. However, they don't literally dole out free money like what they're expecting. So where they're going to make their money is if I don't pay it back after the introductory rate. I think this is on, I think it's 12 months. So this is how I run my book. So it's an elaborate case of credit because I realised that the system is built in a certain way, and for me to transcend my past and my birthright of being working class, these are the types of things I need to take advantage of. I could do it via a career, however, I want to work for myself, or I want to go into lecturing, and it's not going to work. I don't work well with other people. I'm not sure why. You know, I like my freedom. I'm not good with rigid structures. So, for example, I was late to my job for 6 months every shift. Always got the job done. Well, the job was always done to a good standard, but I just really struggled with that aspect of it, and thankfully my boss recognised it, but most places were like, no, you're late, we're going to have to let you go. So yes, going back to this, because I've digressed. So where the money is in for the bank, it's not this. This is low-hanging fruit, so this is an easy £15 profit. Where they expect to make money is, so for example, if I don't pay back within 12 months, they will charge me, I think it was 2% a month. That's fine, like as long as you, like 2% a month, £500, it's not great. However, it's better than not being able to pay my suppliers. So with this money, I can turn it over and over and over, and I can actually pay this back and still make money. If you're stuck in the rut where you're paying too much in interest and you can't cover it, that's where you've got bad credit. So, which hits upon a good point. So, good debt equals debt you can make money on. It's your assets, it's the stuff you can turn over. So I run a very intricate book and it's highly leveraged. And that's okay, because I know full well that, say I buy gold in for spot and I pay 3% gold for spot, and I'm paying 3% for a balance transfer. Oh, by the way, I've got a specialist credit card where I've got no fees for taking money out. So what I do is I load the credit card with balance transfers and take it out day by day. So I can take out £500 a day and I only get charged for the initial 3%. So if I'm paying gold for spot and I'm getting charged 3%, say I get a 20-month introductory period, the main thing you need to consider is, say I've borrowed 5,000, 3%. This is pertinent because I have a card that has a £5,000 limit. This will work out to be £150 over 20 months. You need to work out, can you make more than this over 20 months from you borrowing it? Can you do that? If you can, then you'll close the feedback loop of this, you'll pay this, you have no interest, and you will be left with a profit. Good debt. You want this type of debt. Now, bad debt this is, for example, when you're not earning enough and you're using it to live, you should never take out this debt. You should either educate yourself. So, for example, bad debt is clothes shopping or buying coffees, which I'm terrible for, by the way. Clothes, coffee, etc. Holidays is a big one. Cars. Anything that doesn't add to your income that you've taken out on debt, then unfortunately it's a bad debt. Now, credit cards are very useful, and there's going to be occasions where, for example, you need a new sofa and you can't afford to buy it. Very, very useful, as long as you can pay it back and not incur the crazy fees. So you're talking, I think my credit cards range from 15 to 30% a year, but that's worked out, it's done on a monthly basis, so it's not too bad. So for example, if you owe £1,000 and you're paying 2% a month, you're literally talking £20 in interest. That's okay, you know. However, if you owe £5,000 at 2%, it quickly racks up. That's £100 of interest a month. That's a lot of money, you know. You don't want to be in this situation. You want to either pay it off after the introductory period, or you want to have it down to a minimal. So, say for example, in my case, I've got maybe 7 cards. By the time the introductory period ends, I've worked it out, I'll have £1,000 on each card. And then I can either sell stock and get rid of it, or I can sit down and work out if it's beneficial for me to carry on trading and do it that way. So yeah, it's been a bit of a long one. I'd highly recommend watching The Money Man and the Masters of the Universe. It does explain the system about the feedback loop. You want to be on this side. Now, also I want to say that I'm not telling anyone to take out debt. Some people can't do it. They just cannot do it. They get their fingers burnt. It hurts them a lot. Debt can be an incredibly useful tool, but out of everyone I know, there's only maybe 2 or 3 people I know who can use it effectively and have the discipline to not get burnt. You need to really know what you're doing. You need to have a precise plan, and you need to stick to it. It needs to be military style, and you really need to grind the numbers down. Now, I can do this because I buy gold and silver. So this is my bread and butter. If I'm buying in at spot, to be honest, I don't buy these at spot. Temps are always more expensive. I'll give you another example. Say I buy this at spot and I sell for spot plus 5. I can always sell this for spot, you know. If spot's gone down, I'm going to lose maybe 2%. But I can pay back this as long as I can recoup the interest. So the fee, which I can because it's usually over an introductory period, it's fine. I'm not too worried. If my debt can make me money, then that is a great thing. So yeah, I think if you understand how the system works, you can align yourself to play the rules of the game. All the time you're complaining about it's not fair, it's this, that and the other, then you're not winning, and you never will be winning, because you create a mentality of us versus them. And it's literally a case of understand how the system works and then align yourself appropriately. And as soon as you can do that, that's when you can start making changes to your life, and that's when you can start making more money to help you and your families out. So capitalism is a good thing if you understand the rules and you don't take the biscuit and hurt other people. It's a lot better than socialism. Socialism is where you will expect someone else. And a lot of the socialists I know, they are quick to blame others for their own misfortunes, where a capitalist tends to look at themselves and say, okay, I messed up here. So this is episode 2 of a financial education, debt and money in the system. Please take a look at the prior video of Money Men and Masters of the Universe, because it will explain more in detail. But this will give you an overview of how debt works, and also how you can gear the system to work for you. So Thanks guys, take care, like, subscribe, pass it on, and also, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, although most of them are paid anyway, so it's not worth the paper it's written on. So please absorb the information, drop me some comments and tell me what you think of it.